So in this video, I want to talk about some of the major Second Amendment losses we faced in 2021 and how those may impact us going into this year. So let's talk about this. But real quick before I jump into this video, if you think the government needs to stop infringing on our Second Amendment rights, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Also want to take a moment real quick to do some self-promotion that I don't usually like to do because it makes me feel weird, but I have been notified that I've been nominated for a Gundy's Award once again. Last year, I was in the top 4 for Most Influential Male of the Year. This year, I've been nominated for Breakout Creator of the Year and also for the top Second Amendment Voice of the Year. These nominations, in my opinion, have less to do with me, but are instead a real reflection of every one of you who is part of this community, who watches these videos and supports the Second Amendment cause that we promote here on this channel. Below, I left a link that takes you to the Gundy's profile where you can vote for me if you think I deserve to win. You can vote daily, and it appears you get about 15 votes a day. You can allocate all 15 votes towards me in those categories, or you can spread them around as you see fit. Also, the more you vote, the greater chance you have at winning some of the amazing prizes, and you can actually win a trip to come to the Gundy's Award yourself to hang out with me and other content creators. You will have to actually put in an email to vote, but they assured us that they are not going to spam you. This is just being done so they can actually authenticate the votes that are being issued. Again, thank you guys all for your support. This has been overwhelming. The last couple of years has been overwhelming, and I am still shocked by all the support you guys have shown me, and regardless, I cannot thank you guys enough. And hopefully maybe this year we can actually bring home a trophy to the community. Also, I want to let you know that this content is powered by the Firearms Policy Coalition. So head on over to joinfpc.org to help support the Second Amendment cause. Thank you again, Firearms Policy Coalition, for supporting this channel. So in this video, I thought it would be helpful to discuss some of the major Second Amendment losses that happened in 2021 and how those may impact us going into 2022. So the first thing I want to talk about as far as negative Second Amendment developments that happened in 2021 that can impact 2022 was the introduction of the ATF's proposed rules on frames and receivers and the introduction of their proposed rule on pistol braces. The frames and receivers proposed rule had the goal of actually redefining the definition of what a frame and receiver is so that they could bring more firearms within the regulatory powers of the ATF. The proposed rule sought to require 80% lowers, 3D printed devices and other non-regulated items within the purview of ATF control, and require serialization, background checks, and all of those things. The proposed rule did this by expanding the current definition of a firearm under the GCA NFA so that privately made firearms could actually be regulated by the ATF. This action by the ATF is not a surprise since Democrats in liberal states often claim they want to ban or regulate self-manufactured firearms or so-called ghost guns. The ATF took steps towards that nationally by introducing this type of national regulation through these proposed rules. The ATF also took steps towards trying to regulate pistol braces. They did this by targeting pistols that have pistol braces attached, and they want to treat them as actually SBRs and therefore subject them to NFA restrictions. The proposed rule on pistol braces created this report card system where the ATF looks over your firearm and gives you points in various categories based on the items attached to the weapon. If you get a certain amount of points, then they consider that weapon to be an SBR, not a pistol, and regulate it as an SBR. Well, the practical effect of the point system is that it's next to impossible for an AR pistol, an AK pistol, or other configuration to not be considered to be an SBR. The ATF formulated the point system in a way so that all weapons with braces will be considered to be SBRs. Now in 2021, we were able to mobilize people to comment on the ATF's proposed rules. Personally, I wish there would have been more people on our side commenting on these proposed rules, but now the ATF will have to take all those comments into consideration. This year, we may see the ATF issue their official rule on both frames and receivers and braces as well. The next major Second Amendment negative thing that happened in 2021 that had an impact then and will likely have a long-lasting impact was Biden's Russian ammunition ban. Last year, Biden and his administration announced that they will be banning the importation of ammunition manufactured in Russia. The administration claimed this was being done to punish Russia for their use of chemical gases, but in reality, it was just a backdoor way for them to restrict our access to some of the cheapest and most common ammunition out there. Immediately after this announcement on ammunition, the ammunition prices skyrocketed, and it's still pretty hard to find some of this ammunition in some areas here in the US. This Russian ammunition ban is still in place and will be in place for at least 12 months from the time it was introduced, so it will be in place at least until September of 2022. The likelihood is that we will not see the supply of cheap ammunition come back for a while, and the reality is that this administration's goal was all along to actually restrict our access to cheap ammunition. The next significant thing that happened in 2021 didn't even start as a direct correlation to Second Amendment rights, but is now being weaponized against them, and that was the Texas abortion law, or SB 8. SB 8 is a law passed in Texas that prohibits an abortion if a fetal heartbeat is present, which is at about 6 weeks. This law is different from other laws because it is not enforced by the state of Texas or any of its executives, but rather it allows individuals to sue other individuals who perform or knowingly aid and abet an abortion. In these SB 8 lawsuits, an individual can seek an injunction against the performance of an abortion and also seek a minimum of $10,000 in damages against any violators. Essentially, the law's goal is to have a chilling effect on the performance of abortions, because you could have thousands of people file a lawsuit against you for just one specific incident. The enforcement mechanism of the law was designed in order to make it harder, if not impossible, to have a law enjoined. Now, after this decision by the Supreme Court is when states like California and New York stated that they will use this type of legal structure created by SB 8 to go and attack our rights to keep and bear arms. Gavin Newsom came out and said he would push the California legislature to pass a bill in 2022 that allows private citizens to seek injunctive relief and statutory damages of at least $10,000 per violation, plus costs and attorney's fees against anyone who manufactures, distributes, or sells a so-called assault weapon or ghost gun kits or parts in the state of California. So this law in Texas may have opened the door for significant attacks on our Second Amendment rights going into 2022, because a lot of liberal states like California and New York have already indicated that they will try to follow its lead and go after our gun rights, essentially. The last significant loss that happened in 2021 that will impact 2022 is the Duncan v. Bonte California magazine ban case. Duncan involves California's ban on magazines that hold more than 10 rounds under California Penal Code 32310. This law was challenged in the Southern District of California before Roger T. Benitez, or St. Benitez as he became known after this ruling. On review, Benitez found that California's ban on magazines did in fact violate our Second Amendment rights. He therefore put in place an injunction against the enforcement of this law. This led to what is known as Freedom Week in the state of California, where millions of magazines were purchased by gun owners and brought into the state. Ultimately, the state of California did not like this ruling and sought review from the Ninth Circuit. Now, on review, the 3-judge panel in the Ninth Circuit agreed with Judge Benitez's ruling. Again, the state of California didn't like that, so they decided that they wanted to seek an en banc panel review. And in 2021, we got the decision by the en banc panel review, which went against both of the decision of the 3-judge panel and Judge Benitez, and found that the California magazine restrictions did not violate our Second Amendment rights. Subsequently, a stay of mandate was sought and granted from the Ninth Circuit, since this will now be going up to the Supreme Court for consideration. This means that the possession of Freedom Week magazines remains legal at this time, but they are still in jeopardy, especially if the Supreme Court's decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association does not go our way. So this was not necessarily a huge negative, but it was still a negative because you had the highest appeals court in the United Circuit upholding the state of California's magazine restrictions. And now we're kind of in this weird limbo situation going into 2022, and everything really is hinging on what the Supreme Court says in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. So those, in my opinion, are some of the major negatives and losses that we had in 2021 in relation to our rights to keep and bear arms. Like I said prior, a lot of these negatives have set the groundwork for what I believe will be some continued attacks going into 2022. But I am still hopeful and optimistic that 2022 may be one of the best years for Second Amendment rights that we have seen in a very long time. So if you guys have any questions, go and comment down below and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm or fuel Al Gore's rhythm. It adds fuel to his jet and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and this type of two-way news. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for all of your support that you've shown me over the last couple of years. And again, the Gundies Awards is open, so if you guys believe I should actually win one of those categories, you can click the link in the detail section or in the comment section and vote for me. And again, you can vote every single day and you can win a chance to win a bunch of really cool prizes, as well as win a trip to actually attend the Gundies event, hang out with me, hang out with other content creators, shoot some guns, shoot some tanks. It's actually a lot of fun. So it'd be really cool if someone in our community here on this channel actually won that event. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars. This nation will be maintained by armed scholars.